supervisor. Sometimes you share even one computer. Sometimes in some company they have keyboard, two keyboards, one computer. In this case you have two computers. You share by pushing code to GitHub. In some other companies that work remotely, right? You just work over Skype or just share by remote sharing screen. So understand pair programming now. Have that habit. It's like, hey, if I sit down with you, if we work together, why can we be faster? We can catch more mistakes. We can make better decision because we discuss the pros and cons. So I hope that this become a good habit. And you also push to GitHub, and you understand now the link that we created allows you guys to become collaborator. Automatically you can pull and push, right? If you don't do that, you have to add the collaborators yourself. This one you guys understand, right? Go to settings, add collaborator. These are public repos, so you automatically have read, but you don't have write. So that's a small step. So I use the GitHub Classroom setup. Now Heroku is similar. I show you guys that you can add someone to your Heroku app. This is a lot faster than going to dashboard.heroku.com and then find the app name and then click on settings, add collaborator. One line, you can add that person. So that person can now push to GitHub. Yeah. And then if you know the app name, you can also say, hey friend, you can add GitHub as Heroku as a second remote. So what you do, Heroku git remote, add, and then your GitHub name. Your Heroku app name, right? Does this one make sense? So this means you don't understand, this means you understand, this means maybe. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. Thanks.
Is that a required step?
Yeah, in general, I say it is optional because maybe only one person need to push to Heroku. Sometimes you can actually go to GitHub in Heroku and say, whenever I push to master, automatically push to Heroku. Easy. But let me show you, right? Over time, this will become very important. So when you do git pull from GitHub, it adds you the origin thing, right? Yeah. When you do Heroku create, it create one app on Heroku. It push and it add the URL to your local machine, and then you see a Heroku thing here as well, and you can push to Heroku. Okay. So normally you type git push, but what it is git push origin master. Over time, I just type this all the time. I don't type git push because most of my repos, I have more than one remote, right? That's why when you set up, sometimes you see -u and stuff, is so that it know the default. You can do git push. It's up to you, yeah. Okay. So why do I not have? Oh yeah. I think I only. Let me find another one. I don't have it. So I don't have Heroku, but the idea is that. So if you add me and then I have this one here, then when I do git remote, you will see more than one here, right? But you know that GitHub is where you push and pull. Heroku, only push. You can pull, but why? You cannot see your code on Heroku anyway. And Heroku, there's only one branch, master. If you push, yes you can, but why? So when you deploy, if I'm on branch, git branch, let's say git checkout, I create a new branch like Harley, right? Or in progress. And then I'm on Harley branch. If I want to deploy to Heroku, you know already, right? Harley : master, right? I don't do git push Heroku and then it push a Harley branch and then no one uses it. It's just so confusing, right? But if I push to GitHub, git push GitHub. What's that? No, not GitHub. GitHub it's called origin. Origin is the first repo. And then what? Harley. And then automatically you have a new branch. And then you can create a pull request. You can ask your friends to check. Yeah? Okay, so go back to our lab. First step here, over time becomes very familiar with what happened. Actually, this is another way. There are actually a few ways. So git remote. You actually don't need -a anymore. So Heroku might make it easier. All right. Now a slower way I mentioned here. this guy basically find the URL, but another way, go to Heroku, you can find the Git URL and you can do that Git remote at Heroku. This one makes sense, right? Okay, so next, how do I hide this part? In milestone 2, what else did we learn, guys? You learned that a lot of times console is very useful, right? Rails console, you added a gem, you want to play with it, go there. Yeah. In this case, you have a photo model, go in there. Photo.new.create, save. .save return true or false. .save bang will crash if it cannot save. And if not, it just return this photo. Okay. Yeah. What's the difference between save and not save? That's an ID column. When you type photo and then you see ID nil, means it's not saved. Makes sense, right? Yeah. There's some other method, in here if you want to understand it. Something like, you have photo.save, or let's say if you don't use .save, you do that. If you did not check true or false, yeah, you can check things like, was it valid? Obviously, if it didn't save, it was not valid. When you call .save, it called not valid, right? Or this one actually runs through validation one more time. But if you just want to say, did it actually save? Then you can say this one, or the same as this one. So as you learn, this time just check the ID and say, oh, is it nil or not nil? So this one ID is nil and this one ID is not nil. Of course, if you set up the database differently, then it doesn't check for ID, it checks a different column. But in Rails, so far, the convention is that. Clear? Okay. Understand, well, we just introduced, Rails or Rake is the same now. One way, Rails provide this task. You don't have to use it, you just have to understand. So it's called a fixture, but interestingly, Rails just have a feature that clear your database and then just load all the YAML files in this folder if you run this Rails task. Okay? Some people don't like this. They're like, why the hell is it in the test folder? I want to create a data folder. Well, you can write your own script. You can even use a different gem, YAML, DB, and some other things. And then there are more powerful command lines. But, this is okay. Just to help you guys understand that, oh, this is what it does. Okay? A cool, convenient way to load data into your Rails app without including many libraries. Make sense?
So how do you restore the audio file?
The restore?
Yeah, restore.
If you load it, it clears and it's gone. It's okay. This is development data, right? Cheap mistake to make. Sometimes your migration file is so bad, you're like, okay, I dropped the entire database, regdb drop, and then I create again and I migrate again. Yeah? Because, for example, you add a new model, and then you run migration, and then you remove that model, and then your database actually still have that table, right? And then you create that model again, you're like, crash. So when you become good already, then you can fix that kind of problem, or you can go straight to PostgreSQL and drop database, or drop table. Or you can just migrate from the beginning, drop the database and try again. No problem. Make sense? All right, seeding is another way here, right? Is you seed by Ruby. When do you want to do this? When you want to use some loop or use like a faker gem. Makes sense, right? So it's not dynamic. So if you, it will be in the seed file like this, right? So in here, I can do something like, randomly between 1 and 100 times, right? And I can just, I just 0 until that, like it first, do a random number, something like that, and I can create a photo. Or like maybe I have a photo and then randomly I add between 1 and 5 comments. Does it make sense? So let's say here, photo equals photo create, blah, blah, blah. And then you randomly how many times here. So does that make sense? Okay. Next. So db seed is useful the faker thing is useful. Now, for any library, before you actually write faker in here, you're like, I wonder how to use it. So first step, always add the gem, right? So gem faker here. What it does, what this line does, it does two things. One, when you run bundle, it will run gem install faker. Okay. Two, when you load Rails, it also called require faker. So that way, when you run Rails console, it actually has faker in there. Then you can just test it. Make sense? You then take faker colon name dot name. Oh, great, it works. So that's how you play with the API, right? Great. So generator in milestone 3. Most of the time you use Rails generate model or Rails generate controller. Later you can do Rails generate migration, right? Or resource. You almost never use scaffold. Scaffold is the, to learn a little bit from them. Okay. So one thing you need to know is the convention, right? Model, singular. Controller, always plural. There are some cases you may see singular. Just forget it. Like if you use, just do it one way and always be happy with it. Yeah. Sometimes you have like dashboard controller. That's okay. But if it's anything around a model thing, just make it plural. No surprise for anyone. Yeah. Then in views, small, right? Views, app/view/photos. In partial, also singular, right? This is photo underscore blah blah, right? Now in routes, most of the time you will see this kind of thing. Now we have to learn that you write this, it's the same as writing these 7 lines out, right? The 7 action: index, show, create, destroy, update, edit. Yeah. There's a little bit of like patch and put. Patch means you only update a small part of the object, but you don't care. Just don't care about it. But if you have to ask, or explain, put is like you actually update the entire object. Patch is a smaller update. Yeah, but you have get, post, delete, and put. Okay, so partial. This magic. Who here did not use partial today? No one, right? Who here understand partial? Come on, guys, being more excited. So who here can explain why this works? Okay, listen, right? This one is crazy. Render and then this. What the hell is that? Like, what is this object type? What is it? Yeah, it's an instant variable, but what data type is it? Array, correct. So when you render an array, automatically it's the same as saying photos.each do photo and then render photo. So what above is the same as that. It's cool, right? This becomes this. Because Rails like, if it's an array, let's do it inside. Just like jQuery too, right? But then what the hell is this? Render photo. It's the same as, it will say, okay, what are you trying to render? Oh, photos. So I think you want it in the, app/view/photos/underscore photo dot, ERB, something like that. And then you also pass inside an object called photo and then photo. So this is the same as this. Okay? But because it's partial, it know where to look for because this is the class name. So everything here just basically become, this is the path name, but it's actually, this is the same as this. Does it make sense? And because it looks like this is redundant, right? So you just use this one, normal. In this partial, you can use the photo variable without the at. Those are local variables passed in by this. In your partial, always do that. It's easier to catch mistake. Make sense? So you use it already. Good. There's some other, technique. You can pass in any variable, like pass in a title to the sidebar. Yeah. and you can use it. So it's not an instance variable. Instance variable is the one with at. Local variable is the variable inside the view. And if you haven't declared it, it will crash, right? And one thing, when you develop anything that crashes, you should be happy. Because if you fix that crash, you fix one thing, right? You're closer to making things work, right? It will not crash again. Okay, so loop, remember, if it's the each loop, so Ruby is all block, so there's no equal here. You don't want to render here and then it also return an array and then you suddenly see something else in the view. Make sense? Milestone 4. It talk about loading data at the seed but using the Faker gem again. But now you can see, I say, go through all the photos, and then some photos have 5 comments, some photos have 4, 3, 2. Make sense? And I want to make sure I put a bang here because if it fails, I know it will crash now. So I will fix any errors. Next time I run it, it will never crash again. That makes sense, right? Relationship, if you have comments, I share this in the lecture, but you have to do it a lot in the homework, right? Has comments. Most of the time you want to add dependent destroy. So if you delete a photo, it delete all the comments. Otherwise your database will complain anyway. You delete a photo and then it will complain, why did you not go to comments and set photo ID to be nil, to be null? You can do that. You can actually say dependent nullify. So there's some other option here, but who want a comment without a photo, right? So in general, probably it's okay. Yeah? So you see today, right, this lab, it's slower, you learn a lot. Go back and read my recap notes from lecture 1 and then start your homework and ask all questions. Yeah? And make sure before next lab, set up your computer, make sure you can, okay, git pull, Rails DB create, it will work. I don't care what Ruby version you run, but I encourage you to use the latest one. But all should use, PostgreSQL. Try to use the later one as well. If you're on a Mac, the best one is just postgresapp.com and just install, done. Okay, thank you guys. We can go.